JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, Holness says rent-to-own housing program coming. The government is promising to ease the demand for housing by allowing Jamaicans to acquire their homes in a rent-to-own arrangement. We're going to develop housing that we can lease to persons that pay for it over time and then eventually they can have it, Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced yesterday. It comes almost 2 years after the opposition People's National Party PNP pitched a similar idea in its manifesto for the 2020 general election. The Prime Minister did not provide any timelines for the rolling out of the initiative. It was speaking at a handing over ceremony for two-bedroom houses in East Central St. James under the social housing program in his Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. Under the program, the government builds houses and delivers them free of cost to poor and needy families across the island. However, Holness said other housing concepts are on the horizon as the government moves to provide more people with their own homes. We're going to develop other modalities, such as providing houses that persons can rent, the Prime Minister said. He added, "You might have young people or people who have fallen on hard times that might become a possibility." The PNP plans included the construction of 130,000 housing solutions over 5 years to undertake a rent-to-own program. The party said under the program, individuals pay rent for a consistent period, a portion of which goes towards the down payment, later transition into ownership through a mortgage. Meanwhile, Holness said his administration expects to build 70,000 inexpensive housing solutions in the next 5 years to tackle the issue of illegal settlements. Body of teen found in bushes behind St. Thomas housing scheme. The body of a 19-year-old man was found by residents in bushes behind the Springfield housing scheme in St. Thomas on Friday afternoon. The deceased has been identified as Raheem Skirvin, otherwise called Bobo, a laborer from Friendship Pen in the parish. Skirvin's stepmother, with whom he lived, reported to police that she last saw him about 6 p.m. Thursday in the Morant Bay Market. She said he left the market with a man who lives in Leith Hall, St. Thomas. The stepmother reported that throughout Thursday night, she tried to contact him by cell phone but did not get through to him. Police, who were quick on the scene after being summoned by residents who found the body, said Skirvin was wearing a white t-shirt, blue jeans pants and grey, blue and white underwear. The police said he had what appeared to be a piece of cloth around his neck. There were also what appeared to be multiple stab wounds to the upper body and his throat was slashed. What appeared to be bloodstains were found along a dirt track a few meters away from the body. The scene was processed and the body was removed to the morgue. Gunman drives beside, shoots motorists in St. James. A 31-year-old man was shot and injured while driving in Greenwood, Barretown, St. James on Thursday night. The injured man, who was shot in the right foot, was treated at hospital and released, the police said. It is reported that about 11:30 p.m., the motorist was driving his motor car in the community. Police said a Honda Fit drove up beside him, and a man in that vehicle pointed a gun and opened gunfire at him. The motorist was sitting the right foot. The Honda Fit sped away and the now injured man was assisted to hospital, where he was treated and released. Police say a motive for the attack has not yet been established, but investigations are continuing. Accused mastermind in Roger Chang murder remanded. The alleged robbery turned murder plot mastermind, whose girlfriend and uncle were convicted in the same scheme for the murder of businessman Roger Chang, is to return to the St. Mary Circuit Court on July 14. The accused, Gavin Hurd, who hails from Kingston, has been remanded on charges of murder, illegal possession of firearm and robbery with aggravation. He's among 6 people implicated in the deadly scheme, 5 of whom have pleaded guilty and were sentenced by Justice Stephanie Jackson Hazley. However, he's yet to be arraigned. Hurd's girlfriend, Kadisha McKenzie, an exotic dancer, and his uncle, Seabird Dugan, an auto repairman, who both pleaded guilty to murder, were sentenced to life in prison and would both have to serve more than 20 years before the possibility of parole. They were sentenced after they entered guilty pleas between April 7 and May 20. Portmore Telecommunications impacted by attempted robbery of cable wires. The telecommunications services of householders and businesses in Portmore, St. Catherine, were disrupted Saturday morning as thieves attempted to rob cable wires of the telecommunication networks that operate in that section of the island. The criminals were stopped by a team from the St. Catherine South Police after they had cut what is estimated to be hundreds of feet of cable wires and were awaiting their cronies to pick up the loot. The police, acting on information, arrived at Augustus Driving Passage Fort about 4:20 a.m. with the criminals who are believed to have had lookouts running in different directions. They managed to elude the small team of police officers. The police believe the criminals, estimated to be about 8, had vehicles in the area, including the truck that would have done the major pickup. They left the cable wires, which the police were able to confiscate. Among the areas that were affected by the attempted robbery are Waterford, Kimanos Gardens, Passage Fort and Gregory Park. It also interrupted the services of banks and other major organizations in Portmore. It is understood that the cut wires cost millions, and the telecommunications companies have been suffering losses for an extended period. The thieves, a police source said, used cable wires as a source of income in the lucrative copper trade. Body of woman found at sea in Portland. The partially nude body of a woman was found floating in the sea behind the compound of Teachfield High School in Portland yesterday. The discovery was made shortly after 9 o'clock yesterday morning. It is reported that a fisherman was on his bamboo raft fishing near the East Harbor area when he stumbled upon the body. He raised an alarm and the police were alerted. Police sources said the body was clad in what appeared to be a blue long-sleeved shirt and was naked from the torso down. The remains were subsequently removed from the water and taken to a morgue. The deceased is yet to be identified. Transport Authority worker accused of collecting millions from motorists charged. A June 29 court date has been set for Transport Authority employee Caroline Brown, who is accused of taking money from motorists. The 44-year-old administrative assistant, who started with larceny as a servant, was arrested and charged last Wednesday and released on $400,000 bail when she appeared before the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court. It is alleged that Brown, who works at a Transport Authority facility in downtown Kingston, collected monies totaling $1.1 million from motorists between March and May of this year. Investigations are ongoing. 393 new COVID cases, 7 deaths. Jamaica on Friday reported 393 new cases of the COVID-19 and 7 more virus-related deaths in the last 24-hour period. This brings the total number of cases recorded on the island since the start of the pandemic to 134,297 and the death toll to 3,028. Of the newly reported cases, there were 254 females and 139 males with ages ranging from 1 day to 108 years. The cases were recorded in Kingston and St. Andrews 78, St. James 66, St. Anne 26, St. Catherine 88, Westmoreland 19, Hanover 14, St. Elizabeth 27, St. Mary 3, Trelawney 19, Clarendon 17, Manchester 19, and St. Thomas 17. Meanwhile, the latest fatalities are an 83-year-old female from St. Catherine who died in April 2021, a 56-year-old female from St. Catherine who died in August 2021, a 31-year-old female from St. Elizabeth who died in September 2021, a 78-year-old male from St. Elizabeth, a 79-year-old female from St. Elizabeth, and an 87-year-old female from St. Elizabeth. They all died in January 2022. A 77-year-old male from St. Catherine, who died in May 2022, was also among the latest victims. According to the latest statistics from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the country also recorded 148 new recoveries, bringing the total number of recoveries to 85,927. The country's positivity rate from the latest batch of testing is 28.8%. There are confirmed 2,842 active cases on the island. Approximately 94 patients have been hospitalized. 2 of them are critically ill. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.